Land acquisition. This is Real Estate Matters with Prof. Reato, and this is episode 1. In this episode, we'll be discussing government acquisition. Government acquisition. This is a very crucial topic that you need to pay keen attention to. Now, if you're observant in recent times, you will see a lot of demolition going on, especially in Lagos and recently Asaba. Demolition. And some of these properties being demolished have lasted as long as 10 years. Imagine living in a house for 10 years and one day they come and they tell you that this house has been marked for demolition and you are confused. The painful part of all this is that people's hard-earned money, some people's life savings have gone into erecting those structures, and within a twinkle of an eye the entire building is brought down. That's very painful. We should learn how to avoid these things. In today's episode, we are going to look at how to avoid your buildings being demolished in the future. Now, what is government acquisition? You need to understand what government acquisition is. Government acquisition is simply, simplified English, land acquired by the government. Okay, land acquired by the government or land owned by the government. So any property that is owned by the government, if you go and build there, even if it's 10 years or 15 years to come, a day will come that government will need that land, and then your building will be demolished. And the most tricky thing about this government acquisition is that if you go to a land, you cannot see any physical sign that tells you that this land is government acquired land. There are no physical signs. And some unscrupulous members of the society take advantage of the fact that you cannot identify a government-owned land simply by looking at it. They'll go ahead to sell the land to unsuspecting members of the public. At the end of the day, the land will be taken, buildings on it will be demolished. So that is why in today's episode, I will show you what you should do in order to avoid such a thing in the future. Now, to avoid demolition, to avoid your building being demolished, before you buy any land, you have to ascertain the status of the land. Ascertain the status of the land. Very, very important. You need to know the status of the land before you buy it, not to avoid demolition. Okay? Now, the big question is this: how do you ascertain the status of a land? How do you ascertain the status of a land? How do you ascertain the status of a land? The answer is simple. You have to chart the land. You ascertain the status through what? Charting. You have to chart the land. You need to chart the land. Who does this charting? It's a surveyor. A registered surveyor will chart the land to enable you know if the land is government acquired land. So they will chart the land and you will know if it is government acquisition or not. So whenever land you want to buy, you need to chart it. Okay? Once you chart the land, it's going to show you if the land is within a government acquired zone. So what the surveyor does, the surveyor picks the coordinates of the land. He picks the coordinates of the land, and then he charts the land and check if it is within the government acquired zone. If it is within the government acquired zone, you don't dare to buy it. If it is not, you still have your due diligence to do. If the land is not in a government acquired zone, you still have your due diligence to do. All right, so this is very, very important. Check the status of your land in order to avoid demolition. Check the status through charting. And who does this? A registered surveyor does the charting for you, and then you ascertain the status of the land before you buy. If it is not a government acquired zone, then you need to go ahead and do what we call due diligence. Due diligence before you proceed to make payments for that land. So this is it for episode 1. On Saturday, we'll be having episode 2, where we'll be talking about due diligence and how to buy a government acquired land. Thank you, and God bless you.